All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful Monday morning. Welcome aboard. We do hope you've had a beautiful weekend, just like most of us. Arocho mekuwa Naivasha, kidogo ndo huyu na Harambee Stars. This man gets paid to enjoy himself. Anyway, welcome aboard. This is Monday Blitz, and we have a lot to talk about from the WRC to the Harambee Stars, the upcoming Mashemeji Derby. Finally, we have a date. We do hope itakuwa poa. But of course, I'm not discussing this alone. Let me start with my panelist here. Man like Fred Arocho. Ni aje baba, uko salama?
Uko poa.
Weekend imekuwa fiti?
Safi kabisa, nimekuwa Vasha.
Nguvu imerudi. Rejuvenated.
Nguvu imerudi.
Ninakuja unipatie story ya Vasha. Innocent Mutiso.
Wagwan.
Ni aje? Uko salama?
Niko fiti kabisa.
Weekend imekuwa poa?
Haijakuwa poa.
Nini tena?
That was a disappointing loss.
Okay, we will talk about it. We will talk about it. Double K.
Yes.
Mambo.
Good morning.
How was the weekend?
Mine, I can say my weekend was good.
Yes.
Yeah, although as a Kenyan, kidogo tuko disappointed, but we are good to go. Yeah.
Wale mko disappointed, wale hamkuenda Vasha. do you see like Arocho is disappointed?
You know, kuna wenye walienda wakakwama kwa barabara. Who knows? But
ile chopa zinadandia tu.
Manage your expectations. Two Kenyans don't know how to manage the expectations.
Right. Arocho, before we get to the Harambee Stars game, tell me about the KCB.
I was very impressed. First and foremost to the organizers of the WRC. It was magnificent. The course, yes, for me was the main thing. You know, Africa is described by the toughness that you go through. And the course at the WRC this edition was magnificent. The crowd, I liked the crowd. In fact, yesterday, as I was coming back for the Harambee Stars match, it was not easy to make to make past the crowd, the jam that was there all through Hell's Gate, because yesterday action was from Hell's Gate, yes, and back to Hell's Gate for the finals. So it was something that is worth talking about. And I believe that once again, the next edition will be able to host this momentous event. I call it momentous because very few countries in Africa have the privilege to host this event. So once again, good job. The partners, that's the sponsors, yes, who made sure that Radio 47 and TV 47 were present to make sure that Kenyans could capture the event the way they capture it. And once again, to the fans, Kenyans, jamani, I was so impressed. Angalia the way the people were patiently watching action. Sasa hii ndio kuwa Mkenya. And I'm so proud to be a Kenyan today, a Kenyan.
All right. Let's talk about the new winner. We spoke on radio. Ukaniambia the defending champion drop out, gari yake develop technicalities. How was it?
Well, I think it was rough because he dropped out about 4 to 5 points before the eventual end. And I could sense it because the first day, yes, they really struggled. He really struggled towards the end of that session, because there were 3 sessions. Yes. That is Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Nice.
And kudos to the ladies who performed. Shegu being one of them. She managed to finish the course. So I'm proud of the ladies, led by Shegu and the rest. And once again, this is what describes Kenya. Our true nature, our warmth when welcoming guests, and the outstanding performance.
All right,
from our team.
I understand the president was there also for the closing ceremony. Let us listen to the president's speech. Na pia cabinet secretary for sports Mvurya was there. Tuwasikilize alafu turudi.
Ahead, we invite all of you to join us once again for the 73rd edition of the WRC Safari Rally in 2026. We will continue to build on the success of this year creating more opportunities for growth, for innovation, and excitement for both participants and spectators. Kwa wale wote ambao mlikuja kushiriki katika maonyesho haya kutoka bara letu la Afrika, hii ndio safari rally ya pekee katika bara letu la Afrika linalofanyika hapa Kenya, hapa Naivasha. Na tunasema pongezi kwa wale wote waliotoka East Africa, kutoka Tanzania, kutoka Uganda na Wakenya wenzetu nyote mliofika hapa, tunasema pongezi.
I want to say that this has been very spectacular, Your Excellency, and it has been successful in all fronts. We have been focusing on making sure that our fans and spectators get the best and also inspire the business environment, not only in Nakuru but in Kenya in general. Your Excellency, the tourism sector has benefited a lot, and therefore this rally has been very, very successful.
It is indeed a great success, and this can be confirmed by the numbers who have turned up, the exciting, challenging, and trailblazing competition that we have witnessed, and also for our customers who have shown up today. So my takeaway today is that, guys, next year we commit as a corporate entity. We will be on the table again to make sure you enjoy this excitement. To my customers, my SMEs, I know we've enabled you to have money in your pocket. Let's not forget our environment. Let us maintain our environment and make sure we have a sustainable environment. As when you look around here, these iconic features can only be found in Kenya, and the place to be is Kenya. Thank you.
Beautiful, beautiful events there. Kwa wale wako wanajua Africa, kama waliona, now they realize the capital city of sherehe is definitely in Kenya, in Vasha, during this WRC. Next year, we do it again bigger and better. All right, let us switch gears now to the Harambee Stars. But before we talk about the Harambee Stars, I want you to be part of this show. Therefore, I am asking you this question today. What are your thoughts about Harambee Stars? The last two games we played against the Gambia in Ivory Coast and the one we played against Gabon, what do you think? Are we in the right direction? Tunakufurahisha, tunakudisappoint? Get interactive. Remember, still SMS number 22047. Tuandikie. Our WhatsApp number is on the screen. Also, tunapatia namba ya kupiga simu hapo kwenye screen tu. Tuandikie if you're on WhatsApp. Niandikie, nitaisoma hapa. Na SMS pia nitasoma tu hapa, na kama ni simu, we will talk about it. Let's start with you, Double K. Your game ya Harambee Stars, because you're saying you are disappointed. What are your thoughts around that game?
Let me start by saying, first things first, I'm so proud of Kenya.
Yes.
And I'm so proud of what Kenyans fans did.
Yes.
I mean, that was a football match, not a political rally.
Yes.
We will normally see that many people gather together when there is politics involved. But that was football. It was pure football. And Kenyans showed up. Actually, it was there, I think it was 4 hours before the game, and the stadium was 50% full. So that can show you the level of patriotism that we have in Kenya. And of course, the federation have seen that Kenyans love football. Now we want
okay, let me get you kidogo. We need to adjust your microphone. Let us discuss this with former Harambee Stars International. Game ilikuwaje na tunaendeleaje?
First of all, I'd like to convey my condolences to the family of Nick Mudimba. Nick Mudimba was a journalist. He was a sports presenter also. I remember my first TV job as a pundit. It was with him at BAMBA Sports. Rocho can attest to that. And it's sad, it's so sad what happened. And I'm still in shock. And may he rest in peace. I'm sorry to the family. Anyway, the game, there's some positives we can take from the game. I think going forward will be good. The coach, Benny McCarthy, is still trying to find his footing. He's still trying to find his first 11. And sometimes you'll see there will be some mishaps. There will be some missed opportunities, or there will be times where he will fumble, like with the with the squad yesterday. I believe that he will have kept faith with some of the players who have been regulars in the team. Because I feel that the players like Mohamed Bajaber and Lenkupai, for me, I don't think they should have started that game. They still should have come in as impact players because you see, there's also a scenario where you'd have stage fright, because I can ask you a question here and all the pundits here. If Mohamed Jaber has ever had a crowd like that in the starting, or while he's in the starting 11, he has never had that. I believe he had a stage fright when he had that glorious opportunity in the first half. He should have scored. He should have scored, but there's stage fright. There's a lot of expectations and a lot of pressure was put on these kids' young shoulders, and I believe they should still have come in as impact players, as substitutes, and continue the work that they started in Gambia. I believe a player like Duke Abuya should have started, because in the midfield there was no need to play with two pivots, two holding midfielders. I believe one of Richard Odada or Anthony Akumu should have started together with Duke Abuya. I believe we needed someone from deep who's a creative player, and Duke Abuya should have started that game. I believe also Eric Yohana should have started that game, because tunahitaji wazoefu. They should have put the players who are regulars in the national team, because they still have that feeling. They know they can handle the pressure, and they also have the experience. I don't know, he started, like Eric Yohana started in Gambia, but he didn't even go to warm up in this game against Gabon. So I believe we still have some baby steps with Coach Benny McCarthy, still trying to know his players. And I believe, first of all, and I'm sure he knows right now that he has the best centre-back pairing in Daniel Anyembe and Johnston Omurwa. I believe the calmness of Johnston Omurwa and the aggressiveness of Daniel Anyembe, they work together, because when against Gambia, they were not that in sync with Brian Mandela. So I think Coach Benny McCarthy has found his best centre-back pairing, and also the fullbacks, Rooney Onyango and Eric Marcelo. I mean, they're just out of this world. They played so well. They were bringing in so many crosses, but we were not clinical in front of goal. And again, I believe that if we had more experience on the pitch, because the passing game, it was really good. I'm sure even the players, they enjoyed. But you see, there was a little bit of experience from this Gabon side, and it turned out to be men versus boys.
Arocho, there's something Benny McCarthy said. He said, if you are good enough, you are old enough. Motiso seems to be of a contrary opinion, where he says, let's go with tried and tested guns. What is your opinion on this?
Well, I'll differ with Motiso in several ways. First and foremost, I think there are certain players whose time has come.
Yes.
And their time to leave the stage has come. He's talking about the players who played in Cote d'Ivoire.
Yes.
And for me, I think the coach in Cote d'Ivoire did not really know who he was playing. Yes. But once we were out of Cote d'Ivoire, yes, he knew exactly who was going to fit in his program. Yes. But there's several ways of looking at this particular match. One, I think we have a problem in our warming. Our attitude towards the game is pathetic, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. Look at the fact that Gabon came in early for warm-up. And if you look at our performance in the first 5 minutes, it was disastrous. I feel that we didn't warm up well, because we almost conceded a goal in the first 2 minutes. Mm. And in the last 2 minutes also, we almost conceded a goal. Somebody should sit down and study. Why are we conceding goals in the last 10 or so minutes? In the last 11 matches that Harambee Stars has played, ladies and gentlemen, we've conceded 7 times in the last 15 minutes. Why are we conceding goals in these last few minutes? Yesterday, we did not concede a goal. But what I'm trying to say in a nutshell is we almost conceded a goal early in the match. Now, getting back into the squad, I think that Joseph Akumu was really missed. I feel that we missed Akumu in Cote d'Ivoire. The first match, Anyembe and Mandela was disastrous. I think Mandela, time has come for him to leave the stage. Yesterday, I feel that we could have done better in that central defense. If we had Joseph Akumu I feel that we could have done far much better. Ayembe is a good defender, if you ask me, but I think that combination is still not up to what is expected. On our flanks, Rooney, for me, cost the first goal. There was a lot of delay. I think they lost concentration just before. When the ball was picked on the right side, there was a cross and we conceded a goal. And you could even see the players, their reaction the moment we conceded that goal. Everybody looked at the right side. Rooney should have done better. I think the coach also, for me, messed up in substituting Marcelo. I thought that our best option for scoring was in Marcelo. The goal that came in came from Marcelo. And when you look at our approach in the match, in the two matches, Marcelo was the most convincing, if you ask me, player. Offensively, even defensively. Even defensively. He was quite good in recovery. And offensively, when we are going up front, he was good. I even wondered, was he injured when he was being withdrawn from
I think it was an injury because I saw him signaling the bench, and I think it was an injury.
So for me, that was where we lost our plot, because the last 10 or so minutes was for us to push, bring in the pressure. Yes, we had the pressure, but we were not converting that pressure. Last but not least, up front, I was impressed with the Michael Lunga. The pressure was too much. Guys were really on his case, but he scored a goal. He made several attempts. Yes, there are chances that he could have done better, but all in all, he scored a goal. He created several other chances. And for me, this should be positive. Lastly, that match for me marks the end of the old generation, if you ask me. I think that what Benin needs to concentrate on is the new generation, bring in fresh blood, because our concentration now should be on CHAN and not World Cup qualifiers.
All right. Now, Double K, back to you. As you were saying earlier on, your reactions to that game.
Comparing our game versus Gabon and versus Gambia, I think Team Kenya improved so well, because even against Gambia, I feel like, yes, we were 2-0 down, and I mean, we came, you know, it shows that there's something we are doing different as Kenyans. We are coming down from 2 goals, we equalize, yes, they score, and then we equalize again the dying minutes, you know. And that one, I think it should be given so much, you know, thought and so much applause, because we scored after 90 plus minutes. That is something new for Kenya. We normally don't see that so much.
Yes, that time,
yes, and we managed to score. And against Gabon, I can say that, okay, Gabon, well, that it's a good team. We can start from there. They are tough opponents. Of course, we saw they are strong, and I feel they were so strong for our boys, though they tried very much. I can say that. But another thing I can add on is about Team Kenya. What McCarthy did was so good, and starting Mohamed Bajabau, for me, I felt it was a good thing. And Lankupai, we saw, although Kidogo, comparing the game they had at Cote d'Ivoire with the game they had at Nairobi, I feel like the away game, they performed so much better than the home game. But of course, I can understand that those are young players. For the first time, we can say Nyayo Stadium was full. Of course, there was so much intensity going on. And we can give it up to them. At least for now, we can say that Team Kenya, we are building something. And of course, if we want to achieve something as a country in football, we have to start with our young players. Of course, we have good players, experienced players. And I can say, Arocho, you are very right saying that Olunga was so much under pressure. And I believe in the first half, we had so many chances. And we had clear chances. I think, according to me, I feel like that game we should have won even by first half, because look, we had more approach even than Gabon. And even second half, we came back. Actually, Gabon they were defending so much, because we were so much pressing. I think if we didn't concede the first goal, Kenya, we would have done well. But that is our first game under McCarthy. And that is a fresh start for Team Kenya. So all I can say is that we give the boys the support they need. We give McCarthy time with his squad. And I think as we move forward, as we look upon CHAN, I think we have something good on the way. Yeah.
Amazingness. I need to bring in the Kenyan coach to sikia alisemaje kuhusu hiyo game. alafu turudi, because I also have my reactions, but let us listen to Benny McCarthy first.
Well, we took the game to them, we pressed them high and in the right areas, and then when you create the chances that we did and you don't score the goals, you're always going to suffer the consequences, because as well as we were playing up until that moment, you allow yourself vulnerable at the back, and with the experienced players that they have in Aubameyang, and that he doesn't need a lot of chances. That's why he's played at the big teams over the years. So yeah, and then they get one chance, we make one mistake, they get one chance, and then they score, and then automatically you go on the back foot. So now you're starting to make a little bit more mistakes, because you're trying to press the game to get the equalizer. And I thought up until halftime, yes, they were 1-0 in front, but I thought we deserved more than to be 1-0 down at halftime.
Yesterday, as I said yesterday, we came for this kind of game, this kind of match. We wanted to win, and then we said if you cannot win, we have to draw at least. So fortunately for us, we had a win today, so we're happy.
All right, that is Benny McCarthy and Monyoma Thierry, the Gabon coach. You know, in that game, there are things that, yes, we are saying experience was needed. We are saying we should have started this and that, but there's something that we are overlooking. This Gabon side we are playing was not an easy side to play. This Gabon side, I think, is now number 2 in the group. I think Cote d'Ivoire have gone above them.
No, they're number 1.
I think Cote d'Ivoire have gone above them.
No, Cote d'Ivoire is playing today.
Yes,
Cote d'Ivoire is
playing today, yeah?
If they win, then they go above.
15-13.
Yes.
Yes. In the midfield, I believe we had an opportunity to silence Mario Lemina. That guy had total control of that midfield. Yes, we said we are going to make sure Oba is silent, though he did score. He scored, and he scored a penalty. After that, he disappeared. Now the 2 people took over. That was the Joanna guy, the number 20, and Mario Lemina. These guys were controlling our midfield. You know, so also we have to appreciate that we played a good, you know, in coaching school, there's something we are told. At some point, you have to accept that the opponent was better than your team. Not that your team did not play, but the opponent was better equipped, better trained. They were even physically. You saw they were very huge people, you know. So we really tried in that game.
No, you see.
Again, that said, yeah, I believe, you see, when we ask if Bajaber, maybe Lenkupai, and the rest have played in such magnitudes, such crowds, and stage fright, if they don't play today, then when?
When?
Let them get into that pressure today. Let them know this is a pressure cooker, and it feels like this.
To be
from the get-go.
there.
You throw them in the deep end and you let them swim. You swim or drown.
If we go by what he's saying,
yes,
Lamal will not be playing wherever he's playing,
yes,
because of his age. But coming back to the dominance of
Mario Lemina,
that midfield,
yes,
the Togolese midfield, I think there's somewhere we are going wrong as a team. And
the Gabonese.
Gabonese, sorry.
Yes.
That's somewhere we're going wrong. I normally feel very uncomfortable when I see Richard Odada and Anthony Akumu in the same midfield, because for me, they're all block midfielders. So basically, we struggle a lot when we're going up front. And that's why I think the Gabonese midfield was stronger than ours. Because most of the time, these 2 players, that is Richard Odada and Anthony Akumu, are more of defensive midfielders. So offensively, we are forced to have Olunga back, or in yesterday's case, Bajaber and Lenkupai to come back and bring the ball from that midfield. So I think what McCarthy needs to do is to get somebody else who can give us that offensive option in that midfield whenever we are playing.
That's Duke Abuya. We need a deep-lying playmaker. And in Duke Abuya, I believe that we'll have had even more chances because he would have been the link between the midfield and the attacking. Because yesterday, especially in the first half, it was all about sideways passes from our 2 pivot players and attacking from the wings, of which the crosses which were coming in, we did not utilize it. So we needed penetration from the middle, but we did not have that, because I still reiterate, Bajaber and Lenkupai should have been eased in Harambee Stars. And I will tell you so, because I'm I've been in a similar situation. I was very young when I was coming into Mathare United, and that year we won the league. I was even a young player of the year. I was being eased in by Coach Kimanzi. I will be brought in the last 5 minutes, the last 10 minutes, and it will progress until I was getting a better game time. But in those 5 minutes, I would have made an impact. I scored the winner against Gor Mahia. I scored the winner against Thika United, and I started being given a starting berth in the team. I was being eased in because you have to be part of this development. When you look at Bajaber, and I say again, the crowd for Harambee Stars and the crowd for, let's say, Gor Mahia, there are two different crowds. When you see Gor Mahia, they will sing and they will urge the team on the whole of the 90 minutes. But with the Harambee Stars, they will be waiting for that special moment so that they stand up and start singing your name. But when you go there and the crowd is just quiet until you do some magic, there's a lot of pressure being put on these young boys. I still believe that game yesterday, we should have put some regulars like Eric Yohana and Duke Abuya in the midfield. I believe that Bajaber and Lengupai, if they had come in as impact subs, then they would have had something.
I need to take a break. I am of a different or contrary opinion to what you're saying, but let's take a break and then we shall be right back and talk about Marcelo and the impact he had in this game. At some point I was wondering, is Marcelo our fullback? Is he our winger? The connection between Marcelo and Bajaber was just perfect. When Aki overlap, Bajaber and cover. I really loved it. And you would think, kwa club pamoja, you wouldn't say this is their second game playing together.
Even that goal was coined from those two players, yes, when Bajaber gave that back heel so that Eric Marcelo could see the run of Michael Olunga for that.
Let's take that break. Shall be right back. Keep talking to us. SMS numbers 22047. You have our WhatsApp number on your screen to indicate your thoughts about yesterday's game, Harambee Stars versus Gabon.
Our world is changing every day, and so should we, for the better. Each week, we tackle the big why, the question that should be on everyone's mind. Why isn't this fixed yet? Deforestation, global warming, and the adverse effects of climate change. The future isn't just something that we inherit, it's something that we create. Join us on The Green Fix as we tell the stories of those who refuse to give up. When it comes to fixing the planet, there is no time to waste. Join me, Shiksha Arora, on Thursdays at 9 p.m. on The Green Fix as we look into the big why, you and I.
All right, welcome back. Bonyeza hiyo, asanta. Guys, there's something Kenya had missed for like 2 years, which is the 12th man on the pitch, the fan. And clearly yesterday the fan showed that enyewe we have missed your Harambee Stars because Federation ilitangaza tickets ziko easy. Of course, first of all, there were naysayers that were saying this ticket is too expensive for the local persons, 300 haiwezekani. Then 2 days to the game, guys, there is no ticket. The VVIP is sold out at 10,000. The VIP is also sold out. The regular, kidogo tunasema 80%, kidogo pa, you go to buy, there is no ticket. Yani Kenyans. And then comes the match day, Kenyans are here, they want to watch the game. They have the money, there is no ticket. And it was just lovely, the love that we showed Harambee Stars. And of course, I have been telling you to call us and send your messages because we want to get your opinion on the game. Vile mlijitokeza hivyo, were you impressed with what happened? Of course, you're going to listen to some of the fans. When you walikuwa garau, we got an opportunity to talk to them, watuambie walifilaje kuhusu hiyo game. But before I do that, let me read 2 messages from you guys. Ya kwanza, kuna jamaa amesema, shida ya Harambee ni kucheza na holding midfielders wengi, hata hakuna creativity. Okay, anaitwa Lefty. Lefty amesema hivyo. Kuna mwingine hapa bana, striker alitupeana. Hello, Harambee Stars could have won this game easily. Some guests brought bad omen as usual. Kama of Kwadio Kayole. Sema, kuna magest walitokea tukaanza kufungwa. All right, let us listen to the fans. I love to Rudy.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Shatta Boy live and direct inside Nyayo Stadium. The game has just ended between Harambee Stars and Gabon. The game has ended 2-1 in favor of Gabon. And I'm here with Harambee Stars fans. I want to get their reactions to the game. Tunaanza na jina yako. Uniambie maoni yako ya game.
Okay. Hello. Okay, kwa majina mimi naitwa Felix Amaya. Mimi ni mkaaji hapa Inda. Mimi ni mkaaji hapa Inda. Alafu game ilikuwa fiti. Majamaa wetu wa Harambee Stars walikuwa fiti, lakini yenyewe ref alituonea. But kenye tunawaambia boys wetu cheers wako mbele walai. Hapo wewe.
Nakushikia, mimi nakushikia hii. Ngoja hala kuja hapo control.
Yes.
Ndio jina na maoni.
Jina naitwa Newton wa Fula kutoka Bungoma.
Yes.
Na nafanya hapa Isili. Na nimekuja kuangalia hii game. Na game imekuwa mzuri sana. Lakini ile tu yani tumeonewa kidogo. Lakini mimi nasema tuendelee hivyo hivyo. Tutapata nini? Tutapata wewe.
Ama nini? Hii kusema kweli, hiyo game ilikuwa fiti. Vijana wamesha talent yetu. Na mimi nazagiza FKF washughulikie mambo ya huku mashinani. Kuna talents. Hizo talents zinazo improve. Kwa hivyo FKF wajaribu na huko tumekuja mpya. Wajaribu game ilikuwa fiti kabisa.
Wale tu wanacheza ball za nyuma hadi tunataka kucheza forward ball sawa. Lakini game imekuwa fiti majamaa.
Kenya tumetokea wote kuona game. Though tumepigwa, tunashukuru tu, kuna next time pia.
The game imekuwa BS. Coach kuna vitu wamerectify, inafaa hivyo, tumesikia poa pia sisi. Kwa hii game mimi naona hii tumeshinda bana, hata kama tumepigwa lakini tumecheza game poa. Tumeshinda bana ndugu yangu.
Nimefurahia sana juu kuna vijana pia mtaa kuinda wanaendelea kucheza ball. Na ukiona young people wakikamkuona kina Ulungu wakicheza ball, it's a great inspiration kwa sababu at the end of the day tunaangalia wale vijana wanatoka chini wakienda juu. Tukizidi kuangalia kina Ulungu hakuna mahali tunaenda.
Kocha ako tu feed, tumpe tu time, a develop, alafu ajenge tu midfield yetu ipanze, alete tu ma midfielders wengine. Hivyo tutakuwa fiti, tucheze forward. Asanteni sana.
Nimefurahia mashabiki wameingia kwa wingi. Manze lakini ball tunacheza. Kocha wetu tuko naye. Mashabiki na washukuru venye mmefika. Sunday tuko hapa hivi mutokee kwa wingi.
Kwa sawa, lakini tulikuwa tumeshinda hiyo game. Kama sio coach hizo sub, mimi nasema tu sub hizo coach alikuwa amepiga tu coach. Hizo sub ndo zimetupeana na mimi nasema aje tunangangana kama team.
Gizman mwenyewe kwenye maiki. Tunashukuru sana FKF. At least tumeona improvement kidogo. Hata kama tumeleta coach mzuri yenyewe. Tumeona anajua kupanga kikosi, lakini kuna hatuko 100%, hiyo ndio kitu tunaweza sema. Hiyo ile kidogo tumebakisha, next time wakuja tu watufurahishe. Marcelo, thanks sana. Marcelo at least amejituma. At least tumeona hata kama ni mmoja ama wawili wenye wanajituma. Shukrani sana Harambee Stars.
Muo fire. Hao ni mafans walikuwa wamejitolea kwa udi na uvumba kuja celebrate team yao. Sasa kama ilikuwa hivyo tungepata win. Guys, there's something I need us to discuss about Harambee Stars. We've had a problem before of not scoring goals. Okay? Now we are scoring goals. But in scoring those goals, we are conceding goals as well. You know? Most of our chances are coming from the overlapping fullbacks. Is it that when we go for the attack, we are leaving ourselves vulnerable at the back? Because Arocho was asking, why are we conceding towards the end of the game? I would think it is because at the end of the game, we are thinking we have nothing to lose now. Let us go out there, get goals. But when we go up there, we leave ourselves vulnerable at the back.
Shatta, I think that one cannot apply in Harambee Stars' case. Why am I saying so? We normally concede goals when we are leading. So you cannot say that perhaps we are reluctant because there's nothing.
And is it a concentration lapse?
We need to look into it. I'm not a technical man. I think the technical men watching this show should be sitting down and mine is just to gather the statistics.
Yes.
I've gathered the statistics. I've realized that we are conceding goals towards the last minutes of the game. But I'd like to say something about our fans. Guys, I think this is basically a fresh start. There's a fresh breath in Kenyan football. No matter how you look at it, you can look at it from the political perspective, in that we are having a new office. You can look at it from the infrastructure kind of perspective. Look at the way the stadium is at the moment. We are having a magnificent structure in Nyayo Stadium. So basically, things are happening our way. And I believe that we, as a football family, we as FKF, because that is the body that is running football in the country, should pick from where we've left yesterday.
Yes.
Urging guys to the stadium. We should not have a match in Kenya where there are no people in the stadium.
Yeah.
The upcoming matches, I think, is for the ladies. We need to make sure that we push guys. I was so impressed with what happened at Langata when we were hosting the Tunisians. I saw fans. So basically, I think what the previous regime was not doing was not making sure that the fan knows that there's a match. Yesterday, I don't think there's anybody who didn't know two things were happening in Kenya. Yes. One, a rally, and two, Harambee Stars was playing. We have to make noise. That's how fans will come in. But the Kenyan fans, towards the last, to the tail end of this show, I will give them a special, I will echo them a special kind of message. Because yesterday, I've been in football all my life. I've never seen that.
Yes.
There is no day in this country where a day to the match, tickets are sold out.
Yes.
This is the very first time. So
2 days. 2 days.
2 days. So we
match.
should pick from there and proceed and make sure that CHAN is a success.
Nice. I need to come to UKK. We are conceding goals towards the end of the game. What do you think could be happening?
Actually, for me, I think if there is one thing that Harambee Stars and Benny McCarthy has a job to do, is working on our midfield and our defense as well. Because if you look at the kind of goals we conceded, kind of goals we are conceding at the end of it all, I'm saying about these 2 matches under McCarthy, if you look at them well, you can see that there was just a slight mistake either from the defense, either they are allowing the ball to come through from the midfield, yes, to the defense and through. And looking back at yesterday's goal, I just think that the players ought to have done something. They ought to have pressed. You see, Aubameyang didn't have so much pressure scoring that goal. He was all alone there. So I feel like they ought to press more, not giving the opponents time, not giving them space. What I saw in the second half, by the way, that is how you are supposed to play. You don't just let them control the game. You let them have their time with the ball. No, you pressure them, and that. And by the way, talking about pressuring, I think they did us bad, and I think the referee, he should have done something. Those guys started wasting time a lot too early, and I didn't see anything happen. Did anything happen, really? No. Yes. And did anything happen after they wasted time? No, the referee didn't do anything. He should have done something, you know. Those guys, they are strong, but just a small tackle, mtu tu unaguza unamuona ameenda chini. The goalkeeper is there with the ball, like he's just like ati anapanga, but he's wasting a lot of time. Something ought to have done. Referee, you have a card, use it, you know, as simple as that. But all the same, I can say, as we move forward, at least we are doing well. And it's a good thing that Benny McCarthy is considering using young players. And if I can talk about it, I think it's high time, as early as now, those young players should be feeling the pitch. They should be feeling the international matches. We can't wait for them. We should give them time, and that's why I'm not with Mutiso on that one. Yes. They should be given time. They feel as early as now. Yes. I feel like we still have a chance. This is football, but we are now under pressure. If we want to qualify for the World Cup, we have to win all our matches and hope the opponents lose, you know. Yes. But all the same, I think with the squad that we are building, I think McCarthy should just focus more on CHAN.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree. But still, either way, It's not over until it's over.
If I can weigh
so
in.
you need to weigh in and also bring this as a former player. Towards the end of the game, where does your mind go? Is it possible that your mind starts thinking the game is over before the game is over?
It's a lapse of concentration, and you have to keep focus from the very first minute to the end of the game. You have to be fully focused, and that is what has costed Kenya. The last two matches versus Gambia and versus Gabon yesterday, it was only lapse of concentration. Like the first goal for Aubameyang. I mean, Eric Marcelo, if he was properly positioned, he would have stopped that ball. Or if Rooney Onyango did not allow that cross to come in. It's all about a lapse of concentration. And even the Gambia game, you'd see that when there's no communication between the centre-backs and the ball, like that second goal versus Gambia, there was a lapse of concentration. The centre-backs did not communicate with each other. That's why the scorer, number 10, Kwame, he was alone with the goalkeeper. I mean, in a crowded area, but he was alone, 1v1 with the goalkeeper. You can see even Marcelo was throwing his hands up, like, guys, what's happening? So it's all about a lapse of concentration, and you'd see that in Kenya or anywhere around the world, in a game of football, the first 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes towards the halftime, and the first 5 minutes after the second half, teams are always vulnerable. It's either you score or consider goal, and that is what has been our Achilles heels here in Kenya. And talk about yesterday's game. When you look at the statistics, we had 45% possession, with our counterparts having 55% possession. We had 7 shots towards goal and 5 shots on target. If we were more clinical, we would have won that game. And I still reiterate, the young players need to be eased in, because sometimes it can work against that player. Like yesterday, Bajaber, I'm sure at night he will be tossing and turning, not getting any sleep, because he thinks that he would have scored that chance he had in the first half. It was a glorious chance. He would have scored that if maybe he had come in as an impact player.
Better people, better chances were missed by other players. I think he controlled himself and said, Ayunga missed
I am telling
very
you
good chance.
this like a player. When you miss some clear-cut chances, or when you feel that you will have passed instead of shooting, or passed instead of crossing, those things, they haunt you at night. You can hardly sleep. And you'll be tossing and turning, thinking about that chance. That chance alone, because that chance maybe could have changed the whole game. I'm telling you this as a former footballer, because it used to happen to me. I was an attacker. I was a striker, fullback and winger. And these things used to happen. Sometimes you feel that, should I have crossed? If I had passed, if I'd given a cutback 45, maybe we would have had a better chance to score.
But that makes you better, right?
Yeah, it does makes you better. But you see, when you're given so much expectations on your shoulders. I mean, Bajaber, this was his first match at home. The first match for Kenya at home in 2 years.
But he impressed.
There was,
let us not forget that.
He would have done, I'm saying he would have done better.
That's big time.
He would have done better.
No, listen. Both of them were perfect.
Listen to me. They would have done better because their potential is immense. They have a very high ceiling. They would have done better if they had come in as impact sub. Because
imagine you're the coach. Okay, add this one. Imagine you're the coach. You've benched Lenkupae. You've benched Bajaber. All right. You're losing the game. You bring them in. They have probably not get that.
Who said we will have been losing the game? Who said we will have been losing the game?
Let me help Mutiso.
No, wait. Let me finish my point.
Okay,
no, I'm finishing my point. Yes. Let me finish my point. Let me finish my point. You see, I'm saying it can either work for you or work against you. When you're a young player and you're being given so much expectations, those two players, I believe they will have made a more impact if they had come in as subs, like the Gambia game. Wait there.
I'm helping you.
Mutiso is a coach.
I want to finish my point.
Proves themselves.
I want to prove a point. You see, if Benny McCarthy, you can see Benny McCarthy, he's giving youth a sporting chance, right?
Yes.
If he's giving the youth a sporting chance, then he should overhaul. He should say that I want only under 25 players.
No,
then
you go
he
slow.
makes an overhaul, but you don't give young players like that huge expectations and expect them to beat, to do something against Gabon. You said yourself that those Gabon players, they were so huge and they were so experienced. Most of them, actually, all of them, they play outside their country.
The Arsenal in
so
him.
you see, there's that impact, and it has.
The Arsenal in Mutiso cannot let him explain anything within 30 seconds.
Yes. What does Arsenal have to do with this now?
If you need to explain something past 30 seconds, then you're not explaining anything.
What do you mean?
But let me help him.
You're justifying.
I think he's right. He's right in this sense. Look at Dennis Oliech. When Oliech was coming in, Oliech was being given 10 or so minutes. When you bring in a fresh player, you don't really throw him into the deep sea for the entire 90 minutes. It might not work well for him. Let me give you an example. There's a player who used to be called Kefa Swani. Kefa was so good when he was playing at Thika, scoring a lot of goals. And then Kefa was called into the national team. And Kefa was given Kenya versus Malawi. That is what fried Kefa. Until today, Kefa has never performed in the national team. Just to echo what he's saying, it might work. But if it doesn't work, it will crush you. I support the fact that perhaps the coach could have let the veterans to handle the first half. And then look at the impact that Badja Bear brought in Abidjan. Look at what impact that we had towards the last 20 minutes in Abidjan. Imagine that was in Nairobi with that kind of crowd. It could have even worked better for us. So that's why I'm saying it took him so long to explain what was very, very easy to explain.
Because at the first time, when I tried explaining the first time, you guys were using the three of you. The three of you were refusing.
Yes,
right now, you've accepted it. You've accepted it right now.
Okay.
They were refusing.
Guys, we need to accepted. We need to end it here. Look, guys, we have to end it here because the IEBC commissioners interviewing imeanza and we have to go. But as we go, I will tell you this. If you are good enough, you are old enough.
Yes.
Thank you guys. Thank you for tuning in. Acha tuende tuangalie hiyo shughuli ya IEBC inaendelea aje.
This is the time, looking at what happened in the last election and what happened between the commissioners, I think this is the time to consolidate whatever we have so that we can at least induce in this institution some level of confidence and give it credit with members of the public, because there is a bit of loss of confidence in the institution, and I think good men must step up for this position.
So fair enough, you're suitable because you think you're a good man.
Not just good man, I am professionally qualified for the position. I've also served, and I know and understand how to manage organizations.
Thank you very much. I will ask the Vice Chair, Ms. Linda Kiome, to take up the next section. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Chairman. Honorable Orot, the IEBC Act, it envisages a commission that comprises persons with mixed sets of skills and disciplines. Please tell this panel the skills and competencies that you possess that brings in a new form of aura for purposes of your work as a chairperson of the commission.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. First and foremost, the constitutional requirements are that you should be an advocate of a certain number of years in practice. Secondly, I have, like I have said, I have not just been your traditional judicial officer who sits in court, goes home. I have also served in capacities where my decision was required for the purposes of greater good of both the institution and the country. I bring in the skill sets of competence. I bring in the skill set of collegiality and teamwork and being able to achieve within a team. And I also bring a skill set of my professional qualifications as an advocate and having served. Like I forgot to mention that I have been a trainer with the Judiciary Committee on elections, and I have done 2 election disputes before me. And from then, from those two that I have been able to handle, I was able to mine what is some things that are important to bring changes into the institution of the IEBC. When I handled the election disputes before me, I was able to determine that there are gaps here that needs to be filled, and these are important tools that I bring with me. I also bring with me the judicial approach to issues. I'm a judicial officer, so I'm bringing with it decision making, where we import those values that come about with our decision-making approaches, where we do fairness, we ensure that parties are happy and are pleased with everything that we do in the determination of disputes that come before them. I bring also I think I want to wrap this into the commission. I actually want to say that there is infusion of integrity. There is an infusion of integrity into the institution that has to come from the commissioners themselves, who must lead from the top. And I think I'm that person who will be able to lead from the top with that integrity. Thank you, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you.
Did you say you have any other training other than your legal and law training?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I am a continuing student of Masters in International Conflict Management. The only thing that I think remaining for me to conclude that is deliver my report. I had a discussion with my supervisor in early January, and I'm able to complete this so that by September I'll be able to graduate. And the reason it has delayed for me to conclude this particular Masters is because first I felt sick in the beginning when these issues when I concluded the coursework, and then thereafter I took up a task to do an interrogation of the conflict between the Pokot and Turkana, because it is home to me, and there are dynamics that are changing every single day, so I keep changing and reviewing my position on certain things.
Thank you very much. Next, I would like to ask member of the panel, Madam Caro Kituku, to take up and ask you some questions. Caro.
Thank you very much, Chairman, Honorable Lolot. You have told us that you have not been a traditional judicial officer, in your own words, quoting you. The IBC chairperson is expected to have a legal background, which you have. So now please tell us, as a judicial officer, how have you contributed or been involved in elections or any electoral matters? And while at it, tell us what has been your major contribution to the electoral processes in Kenya. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Kituku. I have handled, like I have said, 2 election disputes, and they were election offenses. And there were serious election offenses that were the results of which were being awaited by the Supreme Court so that they can make a determination on a gubernatorial issue. And in the process of going through this election dispute that I handled, I was able to find gaps in the IEBC processes. For example, it was evident to me that those people who were charged before me, some of whom were IEBC officials, had one or two of them had been charged because they had forgotten and put every document inside the ballot box, so the ballot box could not be opened. There are documents that they are not supposed to put in the ballot box. So some had placed everything in the ballot box, and that raised suspicion that this ballot box is needed now to be reopened so that those things could be removed. And the suspicion on the candidate that lost was that this was intentional, and that there was stuffing of ballots. So that there was no scrutiny of the unused ballot papers. I think from here, I was able to find out that fatigue is a critical issue that affects election processes, and somehow IEBC as an institution has to create a policy on how they relate to this issue of fatigue during the electioneering process. Secondly, like I said, I was selected as one of the trainers by the Judiciary Committee on Elections to train my colleagues, and through a team we were able to train our colleagues in the preparedness for election. When I was Secretary General of the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association, this was between the year 2009 and 2013. And in the year 2009, there were petitions that were ongoing from the 2007 election cycle. And from this cycle, we were able to note that one of our judges, Justice now President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Musinga, was able to handle a petition in Kisii within 6 months. And then we said, if it can be done, then it's something that we are able now to create the timelines for it and then make proposals for it. So this is how, as a Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association, we are now able to now drive the effort that our colleagues and every one of us is able to conclude election petitions within 6 months. Secondly, I forgot to mention that I was representing the judiciary during the writing of the Constitution. The Committee of Experts needed to consult with a group called the Reference Group, which incorporated professional bodies and other bodies of interest to the country, like TSC and others. So, Kenya National Union of Teachers and others. And in this process, when writing this constitution and those aspects on the election, I was able to make the contribution, having gone back to my electorate, which is the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association, and finding out their views on how the election process should be and whether processes can be concluded within certain timelines. And I think that is the contribution I have made, and possibly now it's my opportunity to make even bigger contribution. Thank you, Madam Chair.
What is that you call bigger contribution?
There are bigger contributions to be made in this institution, in the sense that there are recommendations that were made by the Supreme Court in the last election cycle, and part of that is concerning timelines, how we are able now to negotiate